yeah. That has been covered. Dagger, you are saying, Ambala, said in Bay. The Chiva, there were. Dagger, you are saying, Amba. Dagger, you are saying, Ambala, Chabal, Changi. That I go, Condishaba, Junior, so in Bamando. June Dewa. Ani Shanji Chua Junior, what's it on? Shanla Gua Maja Banella, Chua Wangi Long was it any night. Jungama Niedang. Dagi Yajang Ambala, Chabi Jusum Chungla, Dagi Yajang and Vala. Tenny, any little changing, Cellular Jana, oh, Tenny little changing.
So then, second half of 16 shows another version of stupefaction, which is, it says here, the second half, or else it is a lazy person's negative attachment to his inferior possessions. So this is a form of attachment. And so by means of those two previous causes which were mentioned above, that is dissatisfaction or having one's mind overwhelmed by dissatisfaction, or by having it come under the force of some change due to sickness. Then there's a third cause here, which is the attachment which rises towards one's own inferior kinds of possessions, having that arise. And this form of attachment is one which has laziness associated with it.
Ani Ranjola Chabada, Ani Shenji Chola, Ani Kasan Dami, Ani O Dusheki, Ani Dushe Kang, Chadam Minji, Dushe, Tendavi, Ani Ranjola Chabadang, Shenjola Dami, Dusheki, Chadanji, Ani Mimbe Driba, Chadanji Mimbe Driba O.
Then the 24th is given in first half of verse 17. It says here, the attitude of discrimination is an attitude obscured by attachment, aversion, and confusion. This is the idea of difference, literally. Translated here as the attitude of discrimination. So the idea of difference is the idea that self and others are different. This is an idea which is obscured by any one of the three, either attachment or aversion or confusion. Any one of those three can be a cause of this idea of differentiating between self and others as being different in that way.
Gewada Mikewa Yila Misheba. Chadamoso Yila Misheba Kayin Batam. Anna Gewada Mikewa Yila Misheba de Nyangawa Sana Tawa Mebashe.
Then the next one, 17, is here it's called inattention. The failure to examine one's mind is what is called inattention. Or one could say another synonym for this is non-observation. Here it says, so inattention is non-observation of the mind. So one is not paying attention to how one's mind, what sort of state it's in terms of whether it's under the control of attachment or attraction, aversion, or confusion, one of those three. And or one could say that also it's not paying attention to whether or not one is engaged in virtue or non-virtue. So this 25th of the factors that's being discussed here are, that's called the non-observation of the mind, or is explained as being non-observation of the mind.
최단 튠바기 차와 남라 아니 랑기 레로기 대달라 꾸디 채와데 냐바 강인바데 아니 예주바데 채.
Then the next is called loss of respectfulness. It's number 26. And this says, with respect to things which are appropriate to do, which one ought to perform, one out of laziness, one loses one's respect. And that one's respect deteriorates. The commentary says the same thing, that out of laziness with respect to the things that are appropriate to be done in accordance with the Dharma, then when that loss of respect for these activities occurs, then that is a case of this 26th mental factor here.
니디바 교응한바니 라마 좀된 추메디 교응한바 임바데 라마를 채와나 아니 좀된 대지 추단된바 아니 가서름 저완면 미셔봐 추단된바 참 미셔봐디 대다 채바니 추단된바 미셔봐 채바더니 니디바 교응한바 임바데도.
Then number 27 is actually treated in the first half of verse 18, not treating gurus in the manner of the Blessed One or the Bhagavan is loss of respectfulness. And this is actually given in the commentary here as meaning becoming a vile person. Is actually this term, being a vile person. So this is accepted, being a vile person is said to be not treating gurus in accordance with the customs that apply to the Bhagavan or the Buddha here. Bhagavan is a title for the Lord Buddha. So if one doesn't, takes someone as a guru and then doesn't behave in accordance with the customs and the practices that apply to treating the Bhagavan, then this is someone who does that is a case of this 27th type of attitude, which is being a vile or lowly kind of person.
아니 군주의 나스거라 군주의 생각인데 지당 아니 군주의 제스요래 아 지당 니모라 군주 거야요 군주의 제스나 다거나 제 맞아매 봐도 처음에 봐도 차도서 산나다 교바당 다 제시야요래 다 대모가제 군의 지와 넘바 제스 다 셴바 세데 군네 지원 아니 가서래 미봐 니모라 체네 군네 지원 원조와양 원조양 충우 아니 가서래서 대배 군주 되다 아니 대비 대자래 충마.
Yes. So then next is the 28th, which is longing. Longing is a lesser mental obscuration that comes from passionate desire. So here this is explained that sometimes this is this longing or kind of longing is explained as one of the 5 kinds of fetters that they're called. There's a list of 5, which is admiration and so forth, but we don't need to go into the details of that. But here, then, this longing is a kind of fetter or something that literally completely entangles you, a complete entanglement, which is, and this is a manifest form of this. However, it's a lesser of lesser intensity. That is, it arises out of passionate desire, but this is a less intense form of it.
但你给我的了，永远得把来说，我过年之后吃了人是，俺那手当抓拉说话个，俺那手着吃了人家得有俺了，俺那塞巴，俺那得把，塞巴得把来去跟着是，得家来去跟着吃话。俺那รับตัวชัวร์ซะแต่ว่าจะยุ่งอะไรเสียบีเดี๋ยวไปเลยช่วยกุนดีเชื่อว่าอันนี้เดี๋ยวจะอะไรเดี๋ยวนี้ช่วยยิ่งมันจะได้ชากุยกุนดีเชื่อว่ารับตัวชัวร์you know.
Then pining is the way this is translated, comes from lusting after something. It is an extreme mental obscuration. This here refers actually to craving for any one of the 5 sense objects, such as visible forms, sounds, etc. The 5 objects of the senses. So it's a kind of craving for those, and this arises from a kind of desire or attachment. And it is one of these fetters or things that one becomes completely entangled in, and it's an intense form of that. So this arises, or it is explained as being that kind of a extreme or strong form of these mental entanglements.
Oh yeah, that is. 순주와 차바니 차바랑게 제라니 차비 되자 덴베이 랑게 아닌제 류론제라 소와래 차비 되자다 덴베이 세차디 아니 차바데 되자체.
Then greed is called, it's greed for one's own property, and it's a mind which possesses that kind of desire, which is attached, that kind of desire which is greed. And the translation says here, greed is a mental state of attachment brought about by being attached to one's possessions. So the things that we possess, when one has, which are desirable, having attachment for them, and so the mind has that kind of attitude of the attachment or greed for the things that one already possesses.
난 미리 비차바니 현지 제라 현바니 미리 차바 제차고 세가라 현지 제 론지라 소와라 현비 아니 납셈 그냥 납셈 봐 세가라 가소리 여자 그 재생 납셈 심전 라차와 저그가 소와나시 현지 제라 차바 아니 제라 차바 다 심전라 차바라 납셈 쓰고 말이 제라 셈비 납셈이 소지바 미리 비차바 셰차고.
Then the attachment to others' possession is called, it's translated here as nonsensical greed, or maybe even just incorrect, especially incorrect kind of greed. So this is explained here as That is, the kind of covetousness which is attached, which is craves or is attached to the things which are possessed by others. This can also refer to persons as well, sentient beings that are, in a sense, possessed by or belong to someone else. So that kind of covetousness of someone else's possessions or the persons or what have you that they have control over, then that is what is called this incorrect kind of greed, or it's in the 31st of the 57 that we're going through.
다지니 소니와 최민비 대자니 방자 피밀 차된바 최민바이 최마인비 대시서 방화자와 아니 피밀 라차네 치기 대비 근long 대바대바 그 근롱데 소니와 최민바 최마인비 대자서.
Then number 32, it's called here lusting in opposition to dharma, is to approve, or actually it says sort of praise, attachment to women who should be avoided. So in the case of women that it's inappropriate for one to have connections with, then having that kind of attachment to such women, and also praising that sort of attachment in words, using words or praises to say that attachment is good, that the motivation which underlies that is this, what is called this lust, which is an non-dharmic lust, which is improper in effect. Non-dharma here could just be translated as improper forms of lust or desire, and that so that's number 32.
나出现你就是把出现你对原来没行都原来点把出现把我谁干了对半对比看啥安尼让了原来没行都原来越把原来的点把断把你安尼说什么出现
Well, then the next is, it's translated as negative desire here. That's not correct. It should be hypocrisy. Hypocrisy is when one does not have good who does not have good qualities, pretends to have good qualities. So here in the verse it's saying that someone who actually desires to engage in wicked sorts of behavior, some non-virtuous kind of behavior, and actually does not have good qualities, but pretends to have good qualities, then that is called hypocrisy.
那说实话这些你这些信徒干把的确实把人带我谁干了得把全部安尼在了信徒干把的在了差吧是了干把一样刘先生现在干把写的差别没钱的在了信徒干的写的确实比把了确实给把了带我确实没吧많이 라데 되제당 세 많이 라데 제 많이 발라 녀바 사바다 안 사바트도 녀바다 초셰스가 와 어디다 초셰미베 발라 대와 오
Number 34 is, it's called great desire. This is an extreme yearning that says here, leaves behind the good fortune of contentment. So here this great desire is, it's the opposite of contentment. And it means being extremely thirsting in an extreme fashion, or being extremely hungry, actually, for property. That is, you have property or things, but you're not satisfied with them, so you want more and more. You're not content with what you have. And so therefore, this, it says here, it goes beyond the splendor, or the good fortune of having contentment. Contentment means being satisfied with what you have, not requiring more than what is necessary for you to do what you need to do.
나더니 송하고 톱대 단위 진행장 연대 양다 대시 되서 토반 되봐 아니 라니 진행장 연대 양다 받다 담바티 아니 시험 바로 봐라 코안 되봐 새로 톱대 세야돼 라니 연대 양바다 남바데 시 파로 와치라 파로 벌어 코안데 바데 어디 좀더 단위 진내장 연대 양다 대시되
Then it's translated here as lusting for approval, or one maybe could translate this as like craving for approval, or perhaps even craving for gain. And this is referred to here in saying that this attitude of desire for attainment or gaining something is that trying to cause someone else to think that
단위 진내의 연대 양다 바 대시 파로 벌어 코안데 봐 파로 벌어 코안데 봐 지내로 코안데 봐
신나고 다니 지내
알아 연대 양다 바다 봐
So here, this refers to saying, it's like making.
It's
trying to make someone else think that you are someone that has good qualities, and by making them in that way, trying to cause that you have this desire to make other people think that you are someone that possesses good qualities, and then out of that, or by means of that, then you hope to achieve something, you hope to gain something. So this craving for approval or craving for gain coming from that other person thinking that you have good qualities.
소주바 미세바니 미세녀바 쳐바다 동아타자 미세바오 미세바니 안에 현지라는 녀바 쳐와다 야 현지녀바 쳐와 만장 라라 동아 총아 타장 안에 미세바.
Then the next is number 36. This is I'm translating this as lack of forbearance. Lack of forbearance means that one is unable to bear it when others do one harm or when one suffers. So again, lack of forbearance refers to if someone does some harm to you, you're not able to tolerate it or forbear it. And then likewise, even if no one else is involved, but you have some suffering arises for you and you cannot endure it.
데리다 소dim바텔라 추메바니 추메 로벤 라마이 차와남라 마그바오 수메바니 로벤다 랑게 라마당 다 파마라서 이제 파마라서 남라 아니 마그바오 그와메 제바.
Then impropriety is the failure to respect what should be done with regard to preceptors or teachers. One could read that also. Preceptors or teachers and gurus. And then one can also include parents in here as well. That is, being impropriety or not doing that which is proper is this failure to have respect for teachers, gurus, parents, and so forth, and doing the things that one ought to do with respect to them.
아니 깔로 메데와 소제바 깔로 메데와데 깔로 데와 마인가 최진청만 마그바오 세라 저 칸라랑은기 최단 팀바 아니 녀와 최단 팀바가 녀와 아니 녀와 링바만 측녀위 측마와나 아니 녀와 캐말라마 그냥롱 대자롱 세 녀와 캐말라마 대자로 예소지 마그바고
Then next comes number 38, not heeding instructions, means that one does not take seriously statements that accord with dharma. So here, this is referring, if someone else says to you something which is correct and that accords with the dharma, they've given you some advice or instruction, and you instead think, whether it's whether I do virtue or whether I do vice, it's okay. If you have that sort of attitude, then that's this lack of respect.
나 니도단 제외 남도 되라. 저거 니도 단제 남도 니도 라점 차바고서 랑게 니도단 제외 아니 가서 남도니 세대 니도라 차바 니도라 참비 차바고. 是吧? 차바데 차바. 这当的我你对了前边恰把握。
Then number 39 is it's here. It's translated differently, but I'm going to do it my own way. It's deliberation connected to relatives. Here, deliberation, deliberation, which is connected to relatives, is an affectionate attachment for one's relatives. So here, if we have relationships with relatives, and you have an attachment to them that has an aspect of affection for them or love for them, and based upon that, you are engaged in deliberating or worrying and thinking about them in that way, then that is what is referred to here as this kind of deliberation which is related to one's relatives.
다들 요새 시주와 유라 세바텔라 대신 요새 대된도 대연단 줘봐오 아니 유라 세바 강도 내외 유 이제 강도 내외 유라 세바텔라니 아니 양기 대발기 유제特别 텐도 아니 유 현바모 유연발라 아니 유연발라 대연단 줘봐오
Then there's also an attachment to one's own country. And then it says here, likewise, to be attached to one's country is to overstate its good qualities. So we can have attachment or attachment to one's own country, and thinking that in order to present it in a light which is superior to that, and to make it look sound better than another country, then to that inferior country, then, or you're in some other country that you consider to be inferior, then you're praising your own country's qualities. That's what is referred to here, or case of what is referred to here as attachment to one's own country.
Oh yeah, 다 시주바텔라 미시비 도바 세야돼. 대신 미시 도바가 치비 집에 미도바고 세야돼. 아니 광주시바나시 대신 니도 시주바 대신 니도 시주바 미시비 도바니 강치비 집에 미시바고.
Then number 41 is, and I'm translating instead of a fanciful notion, the supposition. The supposition that one will not die means that one is not concerned with death due to fearing it. The same thing, it's exactly the same thing in the commentary here. And this is the number 41.
Then 다 숨바 신이와 랑거연단 로바서 샤발라. 아니 저발라 제놈 리당 단도니 단이 지내 현다 연단 토비 넘버이 라마르 쳬바 균냠세 제수 남르기 토바소니 남르기 토바소니 신이와 가소리 다 제수 남르 단도니 단이 지내 현다 그이세 제수 남르기 유라 소소르비 남르기 토바소니 신이바 제수르비 남르단 댐비 랑그 연단 현지 리바 되베 또바니 저와 랑그 연단 현지 리바 되베 또바니 단이 진내장 현다기 연단 도비 넘버이 연단 여밤 도바세 예비 여바이 넘버이 치달 채나 라마추 냠바고 어디 가서래서나 랑그 연단 도바세 받더라 저와 넘버를 제세야 돼 넘버를 세야 돼 다 룡하게 넘버를 제야 와 넘버를 제기 제수 넘버를 단덴베 아니라 랑그 연대 현지 리바 되비 또바니 아니 단이 지내장 현다 그 연단 도바 연단 디더부 예비 넘버이 치달 채네 라마 쳬버 치달 채네 라마 쳬규냐바오
Then the next one here, instead of rampant conceptuality, I'm translating this as deliberation, deliberation in connection, and then the last line of this first, I'm actually translating this quite differently. So deliberation in connection with causing others to recognize you is thinking, how can I make people take me as their guru by virtue of my excellent qualities? So the term here is causing others to recognize you, to see you in a certain way. That is by presenting a kind of affect. That is your the way you express yourself verbally or physically with your body or your speech, so as to cause others to perceive you or recognize you in a certain way. So here then, this this kind of thought, which is wishing others to recognize you in a certain way, number 42 here, is taking your own qualities, and it's a thought which wishes others to recognize your own qualities, to see your qualities. And the way this operates is, or this thought operates in the following way, as an example. How can I make others think that I have these good qualities, so that they will take me as their guru?
Oh yeah. That is. 先了结束恰巴点里，先去恰当点把人，那么多看人先打了恰当，就先了，俺的结束恰巴单点比，俺的那么多人把你，哦，看说的，就先开始结瓦当，拼命先打了恰巴，
Then number 42 is called deliberation out of attachment to others. Is dwelling on how one might help or hurt others due to being affected by attachment or malice to them. But there's different parts of this. The first one is connected to actual attachment or a kind of affection for others, affection for others. So this thought, or this kind of deliberative thought. It's kind of like thinking about how to do something out of this kind of attachment to others. It can be connected to like another man or another woman. Out of that, you have some attachment towards them, so you have this kind of thought which is deliberating about how one's attachment is with respect to these other persons.
Oh, that nation, she was nation ribani, nation ribai, chale achi, nation ribai, panda mi ben samba wo, nation riba, segana, sienla never say be sim, tigi, sienla pembadang, ani mi bamba samba. Yeah.
Rekpasana.
Riba segana, never. Nation chapale, nation riba.
So here then, the next one is actually number 44, and this is the sort of animosity and the actual desire to harm others. So this desire to harm others is out of a wish to cause harm to others. It's like the opposite of benefiting others is harming them. So this second one here, the harmful sort of attitude is that. And then the previous one has to do with sort of nusum rekbani dei pempadam mi
pembala rala pembada mi pembala sigra ti pembada mi pemba sembawo never chegan demla ani 가서 내가 미신가라 편바다 내가 친간발라 미반바세마 나 예좀 대 리바 예좀 리바니 대 편나 미반바세마 워스
미 편발라 네바
편바다 미반바세마 야마나 바로 발라 치 가서래 리지 영화 그 이제 바로 비싸는 내바기 아니 가서래 칠라 소와 그 차와 채소나 대기라 현라 팸 내가 미변이야 아니 푸지 팸바 야 내가 라 팸바 어떻게 소면도
So here this attitude of wishing to harm others is thinking about what it is that would benefit or harm others. and doing so out of a wish to harm them. So you're sort of reflecting on what is it that this other person would be good for them. What is this other person that you wish to harm? You think about what is it that would be good for them? What is it that would harm them? And then, but out of this animosity or desire to harm them, you're doing that kind of deliberation about these things so as to figure out ways to harm them.
다 생각하다라 땜바 미비 세가라 미가 땜바 미비 미이 세가라 차와데 제발라 아니 쪼와 뭔가와 메나 미가나 아니 천대 그로데 땜바 메봐 천대 그로 땜바 메봐 로데 땜보 메봐 땜바 미비
Then next comes an unstable mind. This is number 45. If one is dissatisfied, then one has an unstable mind because this dissatisfaction is that which causes the mind to be devoid of stability.
근데 뇨베이 세가라 아니 가서래 대배 뇨베 이인노 세데 아니 대바디 아니 가서 대자라잖아 아니 대자지 샤왕도 주와 대자기 셈 왕도 주와기 대바도비 대배 뇨베 이인노.
So then number 46 is polluted mind, and here this is with respect, the example that is given here is desire. Desire, the attitude of desire pollutes the mind, and so here this is a case of that where the mind is polluted by desire.
나한테 뇨바디 가서래 대인바래 녀바 점바 메빌리스 녀바데 준주 메바 거와를 접에 준주 메바 점바 메바 아니 리 거와 쳐발라 아니 길루비레로 리 길루비 튕기레로 이노.
Then the next is number 47 is lassitude, and lassitude is like your body in a state of without making any effort. And it's a form of laziness, which which comes from discouragement. Out of discouragement, then one's body is just in a state of lassitude, such that it won't make any effort towards virtue.
누가 녀모왕거니 류다칸이 주와고 시규로와 세데 녀몽기 샤완도 sonde 아니 류다칸이 주와고서 류지 류제당 아니 나게 류제 바제디면 나게 류제다 류제 많이 봐 류나기 아니 미게위 류나기 나게 류제당 녀몽고 왕거 류나기 류지 류제당 칸이 주와디라 나게 류제다 류제 많이 봐.
So this here, the next one is number 49, and that's translated here as disfiguration, but I would translate that as affect. Affect is the transformation of body and face that occurs due to negative mental states. So here, one's affect is sort of the way in which one presents oneself, both physically and verbally. That is the way you configure your body, or the way you form your speech, so as to present yourself to others. And here this is described as being the affect of one's body and mouth, literally, but speech here is what's meant. Or face. That face, actually, that's right. So the way in which you present your face or the rest of your body when you're under the control of mental afflictions.
어제 나더니 샘 미드바니 샘 미드바라 사차베 리미데와 임바세 샘 미드바니 세 망보체바 세 차베 리미데와 임바야 샤도.
Then next, it's called the lack of desire for food. And then it says here is the physical stupor that comes from eating too much, or literally in the Tibetan, it means sort of like discomfort, physical, bodily discomfort that comes from eating too much. So that's, yeah. So the lack of desire for food means if you've eaten too much, your body becomes uncomfortable.
다 sem신도 마와니 sem니신도 마와니 sem숨 임바니도 땡 세가나 sem신도 마와니 자데 아니 sem라 shum바 차와데 죽투고 말에 냠밤 아니 대라 sem라 shum바 껴와데 디 sem shum바 임바니도 땡노
Then it states that it is taught that the state of extreme mental dejection is mental depression. And that's what's said in the text. A sort of extremely low state of mind, mental dejection, is mental depression. That is, the mind is brought to a state of depression.
나디마 제가나 가서래 주방아지 송거서 더발라 둠바 내심 아니 이다 무바 세드 마송거와 임바다 다 담보 더발라 둠바테 더발라 둠바세가 간디세라 시고와레서나 되디 연장 아타라 더바니도 더바 텐도 냐와니 더발라 둠바데 대배 연장 수자 치 로 르자텔라 아니 더바당 아니 텐도 냐와 대달라 아니 세발라 저거 더발라 둠바
So the next comes craving for, longing for the desirable, for things which are desirable, is yearning for the five sense objects. So the five sense objects are visible forms, sounds, smells, tastes, tactile objects which are of touch. And so these are forms of craving in all cases that where one has this desire or longing for that which is desirable, then one has that kind of desire or craving for that. And based upon that, then one is strives after those things.
nösem sede kan de sigre sana nösem dadan chodan ji chola tüsum tü memba toba xianla nebi si jugula ni chungwa yin se neba chi bi shugu sede ta ti mare ra dadan chodan ra si ga nösem ni dadan dala neba cheso chedo cheba juro dagi zawo mu chobola neba chesam 아니 제도 쳐봐 주로 다다다 다기 드라이 쳐라 아니 팬 따서 도 가서 너도 아니 도바 주로 전이 다도 전이 너바 집이 쉬고 세대 가서 아마야 쉬어인 바 대인바를 대들가나 녀섬라니 다당 다기 초고당 다기 드라이 쳐라 뒤숨도 세가나 다치 단다 다다와 제도 알 대리 내가 채소 다디 내가 다다 내가 채도 마음와는 내가 채바 주래래 대신 나신 다그 trouble,야 아니 내가 채소 다다 내가 채도 마음와 내가 채바 주그래 되네 다그 자올라 알 팬다서 다다 팬도 바체 마음와는 팬도 바 주로 세가나 셴라 never semba jugule chungadi sigone
Then next comes number 52, which is harmful intent. It comes from 9 causes. It is the intent to harm others on the part of one who is concerned about some misfortune in the 3 times with regard to oneself, one's friends, or one's enemies. So here then there's oneself, and then there's the enemy, and then one can think about the way in which the enemy has harmed oneself, the way in which the enemy has harmed one's friends, or this could also include, say, one's spouse, or one's partner as well. A friend here would subsume like a spouse or a partner as well. And then likewise, the enemy, one perceives the enemy as having done something beneficial to one's enemies. Helping out other enemies of oneself. So those three sort of parts. And then each of those is subdivided in the past, the present, and the future, so that you think that in the past, this enemy has harmed me. In the present, this enemy is harming me. In the future, this enemy will harm me. Or you think, in the past, this enemy has harmed my friend or my spouse or my partner. In the present, this enemy is harming my spouse or my partner, my friends. In the future, this enemy will harm in the future, this enemy will harm my spouse or my partner, my friend. Then with respect to one's own enemies, then you think, in the past, this enemy has helped my enemies. In the present, this enemy is helping my enemies. In the future, this enemy will help my enemies. These sort of 9 different iterations of the possible ways in which an enemy could be perceived as harming oneself or one's friends or assisting one's enemies. So when you think about carefully, you consider about all of these things that have been done in the past, present, and future, or that you're imagining have been done in the past, present, and future. And then you think, how can I come up with some way to what can I do to harm this enemy? Then you have that kind of attitude of harmful intent towards the enemy in particular, and that arises out of those 9 causes from reflecting upon the possible ways that an enemy you could perceive an enemy to have done or do or will do harm to you.
Oh yeah, that quite so. 예수님들 와. 예수님들 대체대. 다들이 목바대라. 목바세는 이모전 심선이. 리심지지 내차와 강인바테니 메바고서. 리심지신. 어느 집이 치리 아니 랑기 내 차와 간다 차와 텔라 쳔미돼 봐. 아니 셈 롱롱보지라.
Then next comes sluggishness, and this refers to sluggishness refers to a state in which the body or the mind, because of the heaviness of body and mind, one isn't able to engage in activity. So this either the body feels sluggish and unable to do something that one ought to do, and then or in the case of the mind, the same thing. This kind of heavy feeling of the mind, which prevents one from engaging in some kind of action.
Oh yeah. 아테네 니 마시와 니니 아니 주시 가서래 미기 시와 나서와기 아니 주시 미기 시와 나이 시와 왕시 주보디 아니 유라라 완매번 두벌 셔바기 아니 체레제지 섬주지라 이세
Then it says here, actually in the Tibetan it says sleep is sleep, but in the Sanskrit actually there's 2 synonyms of sleep that are used to differentiate the 2, but they have the same meaning. So this says then this sleep here refers to mental factor which causes the 6 active forms of awareness. That's the 5 sensory awarenesses as well as mental awareness, to withdraw from being engaged with or involved with their specific objects. And this sleep causes us to do this in an uncontrolled fashion. That is, we don't have control over that process.
다 되니 제제라 고바 임바래 고바데 아니 가서래 대자기 차도체 아니 차배유 아니 차바께서 그 유라 아니 셈 초와라 고바스고 와르들라이나 딜라 리섬라도 마시와오 고바니 리섬라도 미샤보 세 아니 세지 잡에 리섬라도 마시바오 야 세라 소와 그때 딜레 숨도도 리섬 잡에 리섬라도 마시바 진짜 고바라 아니 고바다 남이 야와 체네 남이 세가 치료지 유라 인화체 고바디 인화자 마세 아니 차바 가서 대자게 차도 아니 차바지 유라 인화제라 고바스 그거다 니 세지 잡에 리섬라도 맞아 와서
Then next is number 56. No, I'm sorry, number 55, which is excitement. Excitement is a lack of physical and mental tranquility. This is here, excitement refers to a kind of, and it says here, lack of mental and physical and mental tranquility. This is refers to, there's sort of two phases of this. One is a kind of just 영화당 그룹
영화당 고바스나 남ing이스나 아니 셈치로라 영화들라 인사들라 고바다 미고바 그다음에 연구로와 남이라 다 고바이기 인사 치로라 인사들라 아니 차유라 차별유지라 대자가 차도 임바체.
So then here, this excitement refers to a kind of the mind going out towards an object of desire, a desirable object, or an object that is that's an object that it's attracted to. And this is a case of a mind which is excited towards some kind of external object in a way which is a non-virtuous state of mind. Now, there's a subtler form of this which is called maybe distraction, or I'm not sure how to translate that. Yenghua, naming. Distraction, where that could be distraction here could be is a subtler form of this, where the mind is effectively wandering towards it could be even towards virtuous objects, like virtuous or non-virtuous objects, the mind wandering in that way. But excitement here, as this special term, refers specifically to the mind's being drawn out or wandering in the direction of non-virtuous kinds of objects, the objects of attachment and so forth.
Oh yeah, that is la, gebadi. gebadi, gebang ngambe chela, ngambe chela, 치동와래 총하고 겨바니 안에 차왕을 봐 채와라 겨바 아니 치 안에 가서래 차왕을 봐 채와디가 아니 라라 동아 째봐 나 되라 겨바 되라 니요야 말해 아니 겨와 인가지다 미겨와 인가지 그봐 저거 나라 대송 거래 겨와 채와라 겨바 채나 미개와 채 와라 겨바 채나 겨와 그래서 디장 겨바라 겨와다 미개와 니와 채 니라양 겨와다 미개와 니와 채 그라 니라양 아니 겨와다 미개와 니라 주변에 내가서 개성문도 주의 관한 니 친소나 아니 니 겨와 좋아 니라 로에 내가 tel라 미게 위섬 온도 조에 섬중 온도 치유 권에 니 로지 잠바 니디야 미게와 줘야 좋아.
So then the next is 56. It's regret, and regret is here explained as where is it? Regret is to lament one's negative activities. It arises from agonizing about them later. Or you could translate that as it arises from being oppressed by them later. So now here regret has two dimensions. That is, there's a virtuous form of regret and then a non-virtuous form of regret. A non-virtuous form of regret would be to regret having done something that is virtuous. That is, after you've done something virtuous, if you regret it, then that regret is non-virtuous, that mental state. On the other hand, regret for having done something which is non-virtuous is a virtuous form of regret. So one needs to distinguish between those two types of regret, one virtuous, one non-virtuous. The same thing applies to sleep. There are two forms of sleep, non-virtuous sleep and then virtuous sleep. Non-virtuous sleep, or rather, virtuous sleep is where one sets one's mind in a sort of virtuous state of mind before one falls asleep, and then sleeps in that kind of state that's governed by the virtuous attitude that you had as you were falling asleep. That is a virtuous form of sleep. Non-virtuous form of sleeps would be other forms of sleep that are not governed by the virtuous intention or thought that you have at the point of going to sleep.
Oh yeah. Ani da joba de la, de la da ngam tema do mi ga wa de ma song mu de zhe ge na ga la. Ani joba la ga wa de mi ga wa ni ye ba. Ni che. Joba che. Ani do zhe ni che. 我起步得了，俺的先就习是个我的，先就习是干了，俺的可能你，俺的给他没给我钱，主要的什么前期我都不记，俺的给我做我的，没给我做过我应当，俺的天天给我，俺的先就习是吧？
那公那个
先就习是呢，什么前期都去给没给做个做我应当，真的。 你当就把得了，俺的什么给我，什么前几往给我做吧，对吧？你来呢，你的做个那个是给什么都去嘛就，那等到就把来一呢，看了就把介绍给写的，俺的给我的没给我忘给，俺的可看说的，给我的没给我做，是说？
人们说啊，西的西卡的
啊，
西，
卡的。 先就是先给做什么先给都是给我的没给我做啊。这是我先就是的。
先就是。So here then these two, sleep and regret, are such that they're sort of not by their sort of internal nature, they're not necessarily virtuous or non-virtuous. That is, the character of these two mental states is not internally defined by the mental state as such. Rather, these are both states of mind which are governed by other states of mind, in effect, which and therefore their character, that is, whether they're virtuous or not, is determined by other states of mind. That is, so before one falls asleep, if one thinks is in a virtuous frame of mind, then that sleep itself, during the course of that sleep, the mind will remain in a virtuous state. Whereas if you're in a non-virtuous state of mind as you're entering into sleep, then the sleep is dominated by that. Same thing with regret. If regret is governed by a sort of virtuous attitude, then the regret is virtuous. And on the other hand, if it's governed by a non-virtuous attitude, then it is non-virtuous.
Oh, yeah. 你就说你这绝把钱，多把钱绝把，多钱你我这样，俺你给什么存点做的，给为是，俺你给我，没给我的你们什么什么存点做的干了，俺你没给我的你们这什么，你们这，多钱你我的，多钱好过了，多单绝把真心你，是的哦，真心有了正面就不当，俺那有了西面就不。
So then there's consideration and there's two other technical terms here, consideration and analysis. is a way to translate those. These likewise, the first is a sort of general reflection upon the nature of something. And then the second one is a kind of specific analysis of the details, or the more detailed kind of analysis of the subject that one is thinking about. So in both cases, these are similar to the previous two cases in that both of these are determined by sort of the motivation that induces them, such that if you are engaged in reflection or consideration of something with a virtuous frame of mind, and the object of that is virtuous, then it becomes virtuous. If it's non-virtuous, then the reflection itself becomes non-virtuous. Same thing with the analytical consideration of things, or that kind of analysis of things. It operates the same way.
오야 대기 교바디 친이 당 앞뒤 바 태좀데 된다 군조 숨도라 로남니니 태좀모 다 덴바라 대시 덴바치당 아니 산저 군조 치오 군조 숨당 아니 내가 개와 채와라 때는 대우 대화 중하다 내 미개와 채와라 때는 대우 동아 중하라 쏘와라 아니 가서로 남니 있을 거라서 타니스 토데 대화 중당 매중 야 어떠시 아니 군조선 보대 짬내 군조선 인다 많이 얘는 많이 아니 대시 된줄래 코안 주비를 부이 덴바니당 또안 도비를 와게 덴바테다 여다 매냠수 아니 태좀 받아라 남니 아니 어디래 아줌마 태좀래 랑유라 타니스 토바 섬중데라 아니 태좀 시고와래.
Number 57 is doubt, and this is here. Doubt is to be of two minds about the Four Noble Truths, the three jewels, and so on. So here, this is referring to if you're thinking about the Four Noble Truths, if you're thinking about the three jewels, you're considering the karma and its results, these sorts of things. And if you're of two minds about them, what this refers to here is if you're in a state of doubt as to whether or not they exist. Is there such a thing as the Four Noble Truths? Or are they real? Are they actually the case? Same thing with the three jewels. Do they exist or do they not exist? Karma, likewise. Does karma exist? And do the results of karma, do they exist? If you're of two minds about these things, or in a state of doubt in that way, then that is what is referred to here as doubt.
Oh yeah. Then 다 공도 시아바기 도발라 둠바당 내심 이체 디제라 아니 가서래 목바단 이체 와 목바단 무니체가 무니니 어디 지도창 도발라 둠바 내심 무니니 어디 지도창 디제라 고바단 교반이 어디 지도창 네 태좀 제일 가라 나오텔라 지방아 세도 쓴 거래 지방아
라 둠바단 악사
도발라 둠바단 내서레레체
둠바단 둠바. So the desire and there's a way of categorizing these 57 into five subsets, or five sets, and those the way this is done is that desire and dumpa. What do I got for that?
도발 둠바 다지 혼 친사서 도발 둠바 당부디 바 주방아이 나네.
도발
이거 되디 연장아타라세 되디 연장아타라세 세디 도발 둠바 도발 되자.
So desire here refers to attached desire.
No. 도발
Longing. Oh, longing is what we have for that.
도발 둠바 단내섬이 제레레레 상. 단니당 무반이오데 아니 계지그 주당 아니 가소래 랑아랑 그 띵에들 제 가소래 자와 영화 띵에들 안에 봐주 줘봐 집어차니 세단 차와 집이지 아니 장가를 잡고 진짜네 세단 차와 집이지 문인이오의 장가 직도장 거제니오의 차와 장가 직도장 대가라 시체 대가라 태좀 잡을까라 아오대가 아니 개위 노 초바체바기 아니 지방아 하세다 신리를 측조와 등에 참아서
So there's a way of breaking these down, the 57, into 5 categories. So they're called the 5 kinds of obscurations. And the way this is done is that desire and longing are categorized as 1. Sleep and stupefaction is counted as 1. Again, kuchi the niemason. The kasa drupanga.
지방하고 대 담보 더발을 듬바단 더발을 듬바 찍도 더발을 듬바 내심체 이체 되니 이당 목반이오 대 찍도 장 음체 아니 거바단 저반이오 대 찍도 장 시체 되니 저좀 재미가랑아
Okay. So desire and longing are counted as 1. Sleep and stupefaction is counted as 1. Animosity and nusimdang.
느슴당 더발을 듬바든 느슴이래래 체 더발을 듬바 되자체 느슴이오 되냐바 지비 시구요와 대인이보다 장가래래 차 더발을 듬바다 느슴이 체
So you count desire and longing as 1, and then you count animosity or the desire to harm another person as another one. And then you count sleep and stupefaction as 1. Then you count regret and excitement as 1. And then you count doubt as 1. And those 5 together, the 5 containing, some of them containing more than 1 member, are counted as the dripanga. 5 obscurations.
세단 차와 집이치 퇴좀 지난 아니도 세단 차와 집이치리세 그래 직도 장고에 그 괜찮은 시거래. 저 아니 니무니보체기 계지기 주당 강라 파자치에 그 차와 니오데 직바직체. 와 거제 니오데 계지기 주당 안에 강라 차와치에 그 가서 직바 인장 안에 대차와레스 직도 직장바레스 세단 차와 직비치
세단 차와 직
세선 계지기 주
세단 기지기규
차와 직비치 아니 장가직도 장바레스
I'm sorry, I just didn't get that.
계지기 주
기지기규
니 요야 그 주당 안에 가서래 모바 요야 그 주디 세단 차와라 소가 된다고 했다는 이다 모바 연구하러 와 세단 아니 차와 띵을 봐주자 봐. 직바 인장 아니 권인이 직두창.
So stupefaction and sleep, since they come about often as the result of food and activity and so forth, then they're counted as one thing. In this case, these are obscurations specifically to the achievement of meditative concentration. So, therefore, those two count in that way as one of these obscurations, that in the process of producing a meditative concentration, then they operate as an obscuration or an obstacle to the development of meditative concentration.
다 대나시 교바당 고바니오 텔라양 아니 계그 주대 직바 치료지유라 차유라 인와라 소와라 때나 고바게 되게 아니 등에잖아 파도셔봐 네가 직바 인장 세단 차와 집이지 아니 디가나 태좀내바기 아니 드방아 또 시작하거든.
So then regret and doubt as well. These have to do with one's relationship or attitude towards external objects. And these two mental states then disturb the mind or function as obstacles to the development of meditative concentration in a similar fashion. So they get counted as one as well in terms of this as an obscuration or obstacle to the development of mental concentration. 때좀 더 교봤단 때좀
말한다. 그렇지.
그게
그바다 줘봐니.
그
그바다 줘봐니. 그바다 줘봐. 다른데 돼. 그바다 줘봐.
Oh, I said doubt, didn't I? Oh, sorry. Actually, how am I translating that? Wildness? Excitement. Excitement and regret are count as one.
아야. 다 뒤제라. 혼두제 병아주자도 못했다. 나 파지를 반지여와 인라. 아니 그와양가 시여인 바. 좋아. 아니 반지여와 인라. 가지기 섬중을 송한 나양스. 반자 가지고 섬중을 송한 인양. 아니 니와 깨들라. 교단 대봉을 송이 니와 깨지 그 교단 대봉을 송. 뭐 송이 치도 나외 텔라다데. 아니 매배 방와 차라. 파지 세자당 체제 니니지 땡진 세제 바식 담바야 요스 세자당 체제 니지권에 죄제주권에 담바당 죄제권에 담바야 아니 양 죄제 지보권에 담바야 요베 아니 담바야 요도 세니다 된나데 송구하래.
So these 57 that have been enumerated above, most of these are subdivisions of things which are to be gotten rid of. Some of them are, although they appear similar in identity to the mental factors, these are things which are presented, they appear here in the text for the sake of identifying the causes of faults, faulty behavior in particular, faulty mental, physical, verbal behavior, together with the causes of them. And so therefore, one should investigate and examine these 57 and make effort so as to get rid of them. In most cases, in the list of 57 that are given above, there's both the primary thing which is to be explained, as well as a gloss that explains it. Both of them appear. However, in some cases, there's nothing is presented in the list, but the primary thing to be understood. That is the principle of mental affliction of the 57.
Oh yeah, then it that is yeah. Oh, that quantum shabaki, Panja Teda could turn to Atela. Teda Chanju Sembe Bang, Domzin Chi Genji, Habar Bang. Shewa, Narshabi, Newa Teda. Ane, oh, Newa Sheda, Chanju Semba Chimbe Jang, and a Bawa Chakure. Wada, Rabdu Chumaki, Panja Tumo Maimba. 가시 요아를 마도 시행 장점 침바당 안에 장사로도 정원내라 아니 반자 집바 인바인장 대다 장주 셈배 대다 장주 셈배 방 domzenjenji lapa bang sere ngare shebe nyewa teda 아니 장수 침배 장주 셈배 장 방와 자신 장주 셈바 랍도 정와 domzenje장 lapa bangwa chao 세고 다야게 침배가 bangwa chawa 되라 랍중 권에 bangwa chawa 되다 만져 봐 전주습에 로와 파체와 침바다 투모와 임바 반자 임바
So then there's a summary of this topic, and it says that those are to be gotten rid of by bodhisattva, and they are especially to be gotten rid of by a person who is following the ascetic lifestyle. So these, in the commentary on that says that these faults, which have been just been explained, the 57 faults, are things that even householder bodhisattvas are to get rid of, to abandon. Then it's also the case, of course, that a bodhisattva who has gone forth from the household, that is, who has adopted a renunciate lifestyle and adopted the ascetic form of life, then they, in particular or especially, should abandon these things. So this indicates then that these are things to be gotten rid of by bodhisattvas in general, and this applies both to the householder, bodhisattva who's following the householder lifestyle, but of course, in particular, for the bodhisattvas who are have adopted a renunciate's lifestyle and the ascetic sort of lifestyle, then they should especially make effort to get rid of those.
Oh yeah, that didn't. I said, then you are Banja Bawa the Chinsani. Then you are Yanda Lawa Chabala, Negaji Yandang, Taduku Yandani. Negaji Yandang, Chitambata, Sajinam Shashaba. Oh, Chitambata, Yandan Yung, Dodu Tambata, so song or soma, so say Jebu, Tumongi Jebu, that she said, that humble Yandan, more Dodu Tambati.
So that finishes then the discussion of the things which are to be gotten rid of in this section of the text. And then next comes the taking up of good qualities. And these good qualities are of two sorts. There's the temporary form of the good qualities, and then there's the final or ultimate aspect of good qualities. The first of these has two subdivisions. That is the temporary good qualities, the general explanation of this or general exposition of this, and then there's a presentation of the 10 bodhisattva stages or levels. And the first comes the general exposition. It's got 4 parts. The first of these showing the a brief, abbreviated exposition of the character of good qualities, and then the identification of the individual character of the good qualities, the individual results of the good qualities, and then the general or common sort of effects or results of these good qualities. So first comes then this brief explanation, abbreviated exposition of the character of good qualities.
Oh yeah, that you then you do the Dambatella. Never tenum Tanjana, you then am not della dance. What a condo shepherd in Neva, what you thought about Teta Chana, Sanju Sambak, Sanju Sambak, condo shepherd in Neva, what you Teta Chana, Annie, you then am della to any temper juve, sick, you then am la della dan. You then teach Chena, condo shepherd in Neva, I don't put Teta Banging, Annie. Then
the next last part of verse 34 says, if one is separate from those faults, then one will easily be able to resort to or to achieve, one could say, good qualities. So this is verse 34. Since when one is freed from these faults, one can easily develop positive qualities or good qualities. So this is a reference to the bodhisattva. If the bodhisattva is freed from these 57 faults that have been enumerated above, then they will easily be able to obtain or to develop these sorts of good qualities. And therefore, one should strive to get rid of the faults and to develop the good qualities.
Oh yeah, and then all do them so soon. That's also all Tella Marit and then do them but Tella Chanju Sambai, and then do then Chawani. Jindan Chujum Surgeon, some then share in the soul, say Chawa Sunda, Chanju Sambagi, and then do then Tambatella. And it had Chindu Jimbatang, Chujum Dang. Seba, any Jinju, Rama, Dana, really one of my young jet, and someday share up chat, touching to the chat. 어디래 다 파지 주보 지소 주보대 지소 주보대 자주 선배 연단도 dro다 면조어대 아니 저완년지 첨보당 자주 그 섬라라 레바 인장 저완년지 첨보당 자주 그 섬지 생나 아니 지소 주보대 아니 자주 선배 연단라 조고 조와 인장 다 디순거래 다 대화들로나 대라 자주 선배 연단 도도대 담바차와 강세나 진바당, 수림당, 서바당, 준주당, 삼대당, 셰럽당, 인제당, 저완인지 인지소, 저완인지 전부 뒤끝나 안비. 아니, 나는 뭐 양다바做长期 톰제지 아니 샘제대. 샘제, 된다 어때? 다 장주 샘비 연대. 너 뒤에 때나 친구 연대대 때문에 말이야.
So then the next verse continues this brief exposition of the character of the good qualities that are to be taken up by the bodhisattva. And this is in verse 35. In short, the good qualities that a bodhisattva should develop are generosity, morality, or one could say ethical conduct here, tolerance, or one could translate that as forbearance, heroic effort, concentration, wisdom, and loving kindness, or actually one could translate that as just compassion, and so on. Like I would translate that as compassion. So then the commentary on this says that if you ask, how would one explain, or how are the good qualities of a bodhisattva to be stated in brief? Then they're listed here saying there's the 6 perfections. First, generosity, ethical conduct, forbearance, effort, meditative concentration, wisdom, and compassion. And then in the root verse where it says, etc., this also indicates that the generation of the bodhicitta, the development of bodhicitta, which is motivated by compassion, which is the last of the things listed there. So this verse, in brief, then expounds the different sorts of qualities that the bodhisattva is to take up, motivated by the wish to become a fully awakened Buddha for the sake of all sentient beings. Then one develops the 6 types of good qualities, the 6 perfections, and then love and compassion and bodhicitta then are actually the governing motivations. And if you have compassion and bodhicitta, and then you also have the wisdom, which understands the nature of things, then these 6 kinds of practices that are mentioned here become perfections. That's what makes them perfections, is that quality of being governed by compassion, bodhicitta, and understanding the nature of reality.
Oh yeah. 다들 전에 더 되더니 다소성 원을 송와텔라 지소 주보되기. 진바라노 용동와 시간라 아니 진바데 랑기노 달로 진바래나 가서요래서나 아니 사생기 진바 최지 진바 미지바 접지 진바 천배 진바스 요래 지단 다 될고 예와다 송금에도돼 와 인자 단다디 진바라노 너동와 세대 사생기 진비 완전 전에 손이 그러와 진바라노 너동와 세 진바 아니 랑기 노라 랑기 노 현라 용서도위 셈바 랑기 노 현라 용서도위 셈바 대잠지 미쳐봐 자주선비 준비 파진기 냠래라 아니 다 취했음데 나는 뭐 양다바 조비 창주 탐되지 삼바 창주 그 섬지 셈바 진바집에 겨와 아니 조장도 오와 준비 코스 메모바도 베시아럽지 셈바 다 취했음데 되내지고 그래 와 취했음보데 셈비 아니 랑기 노르 현라 용서도위 셈바데 아니 진바 셈바탕 아니 셈바 되게 꾸나 되게 꾸나 라미 아니 룡아기 아니 이제 달루데라 가서래 융하게 내라 안에 가서래 수천되고 요와 인상 타주루라 안에 융하게 내 어디 융하게 그지 대만이나 융하게 내 대다다 그냥도 주바기 안에 샘주세바 야
So then comes the identification of the individual character of each of these that have been presented in brief. So here comes first in the verse that generosity is completely giving up one's own wealth. Now, actually, there are multiple forms of generosity. There's a generosity of material things, that is giving actual material things to others. There's a generosity of giving dharma. There's the generosity of giving freedom from fear, protection to others. There's the generosity of love. Now, these are not all treated in this specific verse here, or the line of the verse. Rather, here it's mostly focusing upon the first of these, that is the gift of material things, where one is giving material things to others. So the commentary on this says that generosity is an attitude which completely gives up one's own wealth for the sake of others. And then the final line in the commentary here says, and motivated by that, or out of that, the actions of one's body and speech, the karma that you create through body and speech, which is motivated by that attitude, the attitude of completely giving up one's own possessions. Now here, this description on its own isn't adequate to make this a perfection. What makes each of the perfections or each of these things perfections is that they have three properties. The first of the properties is that they have to be motivated by bodhicitta. That is, when you're engaged in generosity, it's not adequate that you simply have this expansive, generous attitude of being willing to give up everything that you have. Rather, you have to do it motivated by the aspiration to become a true, perfect, fully awakened Buddha for the sake of all sentient beings. So that's the first of the three properties. Then, in addition to that, after you've performed the action, that functions as the motivation for the action. Then, once you've performed the action, completed the action, you also have to then dedicate the merit that you've achieved or developed through that action for the achievement of unexcelled perfect awakening, that you yourself will achieve unexcelled perfect awakening for the sake of all sentient beings. That dedication is second. And then third is understanding that you as the agent performing the action, that the recipient of the gift here, the object of the gift, that is the recipient, and then the gift itself, whatever it is, all three of these are empty of intrinsic nature. So that kind of understanding of the nature of reality has to be in place too for an act of generosity to be a perfection, or perfection of generosity.
Oh yeah, that's that. Then that Jimmy Pacinde, I know Kondo Shabaga, Donsum, Tataju, Chajusum December, Tendejula, and Donsum Kondo Pewa, Jimmy Paddy Shaba Mado, I need Jimba Castle Sienla, I need not Jimbe, Longe Jimbala Dane, Parobo, Pompa Savage, Pompa, I need not Pompa Mebaji Gogumari. So, or Donson Kondo Pewa, Jimba Shaban Mado, I need Parobi Pompa Ushing Pompa Nebala Dogumari, that Junjula Subanashi. Tadun Roger Yanakun, Gawachita Parochi, Doba Tamje, Dejade, Gugula, Dansumji, Jimby Paro Chinsun days. In it, Jimbatamba, Paro Ushing Pombi, Gu Mebala, Doguyana, and the Jumden, and in Yamishaja to Jimby Paro Chima, my Gogre, Gawachita Parochins. 인장 동선 관내 공도 배워를 좀下过를 마도 우신 폼비 좀 해봐라 되고 말이 인장 진비용 도바 탐제 대학 도바 탐제 도바 세네가 라라 유예비기 아니 뭐버 탐제 아니 현대도 아니 섬전라 당와 대마세 진바 담이 대부단 제와양 아니 섬전라 파와 당와 되라 지우권라 가서 당선지 준비 바로 친순세 도바 탐제 대제디 지우권라 당선지 준비 바로 친순데 그래서
Die go niemand som kan je die document die Chesung Yanka. Yeah, this thing's not working right again. Yeah, first part of that I didn't get. No, now it is. Yeah, but there's when I flip now it's not here. It's up there somewhere because when I wiggle this cord, it comes in and out. Die woman do. No. 준비 파트는
준비 바로 침바 제발라 우신 폼비 기우我们主要没把它丢个马的하고서
우신 폼이
폼박 우신 폼하고도
하고서
우신 폼비主要没把它丢个马的우신 폼비主要没把它丢个人呐 아니 다들 내가서 우신 폼비主要방법 여와 인장 아니 좀 전에 바로를 좀 준비 바로 좀 맞아 쓰고 그래. 좋아. 다중 조장 연나 저와 치다 바로 친. Yeah.
So here, as far as the perfection of generosity is concerned, this is not dependent upon whether or not people that are impoverished or that are in a hard state actually are completely alleviated from that state. That is, this is not the perfection of generosity doesn't depend upon the actual alleviation of all of the poverty or lack that beings experience. That is not a necessary. The satisfaction of all of the, or alleviation of all of the poverty, all of the hardships that other beings are experiencing is not a necessary criterion for the existence of the perfection of generosity. If that was the case, then no Buddha would ever have, or no Bodhisattva would ever have achieved the perfection of generosity, because there are limitless beings that are in states impoverished and are undergoing hardship, and therefore if the elimination of that entirely was required, it would be impossible to achieve the perfection of generosity.
원하다 집이 발이 가르래서나 도바탐제 제제디 기우군라 당순지 집이 바로 친순대에서 라나 유예비 오보 탐제당 아니 동을 현라 동을 세바 양양도 배워다 아니 진바 땅위 제우당 제바 아니 현라 동와 동선 관내 공도 배워다라 니 집이 바로 세바 바로 침바시 그래서 도바 탐제 제제디 기우군라 당순지 집이 바로 친순대에서
So therefore, what this refers to is an attitude of taking everything that you have, all of your possessions and yourself, and all of it, combining it together, everything that is within your control, and having the attitude of giving that up for the sake of others. This does not entail actually giving it to others necessarily, but it's the attitude of giving up all of the things that you possess for the sake of others, and thinking of it as that one is taking all of one's possessions, oneself, combining them together, and you think that I am forsaking these things for the sake of other sentient beings. That is the perfection of generosity.
오야 다 되게 진바체 진바라노 용동화 세테체 추진선배 차와고 세가나 다 추진경 세야데 안에 송이 선바 고슴 예제라 안에 송아 현라님이 시삼자라 도바체와키 다 추진 송이 선바 대양 송이 선바다니 몇선바 다진 아치 캐치 숨데 삼중어와 돈지도 비셔럽지 심바. 是吧？这样你出去送啊这样，你另外给那些多把战绩没少吧？旅当啊给那些多把战绩没少吧？看这个话嘞，现在旅了出去送啊这样，另外给那些多把战绩没少吧？你看着送过来现在，你告诉你天面一些个三把，现了偏比切度，让你把这个团队也把帮把我，这个天面一三把帮嘛。
초민이치 디 택민기 삼바 초민이
이면 이제 그 삼바스 아니 지금 아니 타브라토비 텐도 주루송아 잠많이 봐. 와.
So here then next comes the perfection of ethical conduct. And this is explained as giving up one's interest in one's own aims so as to be able to benefit others. So here, ethical conduct as such refers to a kind of restraint of oneself, primarily as a form of restraint where one restrains oneself from engaging in negative forms of behavior, bodily, verbal, or mental sort of misbehavior. But that alone is not sufficient as a definition of the perfection of ethical conduct, because here it refers to this attitude in which one abandons interest in one's own aims for this, and instead replaces that with interest in achieving the benefit of others, achieving things which are beneficial to others. So this refers especially to the giving up of the interest or the desire to achieve the kind of results that the Shravakas seek, that kind of self-interested practice.
Oh yeah. Bon semni tobala chujum paro chimpa she bonju tela linga gi nyeje dang ti ding du chanju sembi chujum na ane timen yi ge samba bon wa ti da du xia go wa.
So that la quand a dit ja pour jugimento puncture
bon semni tobala chujum paro chimpa she ju la so na xin xin bon sem linga gi nyeje dang ti ding du
So here then, this refers to, on the one hand, one gives up all of the kinds of faulty behavior, any kind of faulty mental, physical, or verbal behavior, and then in addition to that, it's so that kind of faulty behavior one finds is actually common to the path as it's practiced by the Shravakas. But in addition to that idea of ethical conduct, one abandons as well the interest in the achievement of the kind of result that the Shravakas attained through their practice of the path. So,
Sebe chowa pangba de, seba ni chowa pangwa de, neje la, ani me choba, seba, neje la chi menye bi seba, dunga tane ji seba, che la ngay chim ji seba si, da tsum ji jiwa raba. Wa de yin zang, da te la yang, ani chowa pangba de, ani sewi paro de chimba zowa, dewa cheba la, kang, ani kran la, nyeba la cheba ki, ani kare sa la, 내지 그 드라마에 되고 말에 스타지나 신천이 그러나 랑기 안에 초아방 셈 관에 공도 패패와를 자고 그래 그러나 야
So then, with respect to this one, this second one as well, the ethical conduct, it too has to be have those three properties that we mentioned with respect to generosity. That is, it has to have bodhicitta as the motivation. When one concludes the action, one has to dedicate the merit of it for the sake of all the achievement of Buddhahood for the sake of all sentient beings, and then also it has to have that mental factor of wisdom, that is the understanding of emptiness in the process of performing the action, or throughout the entirety of both the intention, forming the intention, performing the action, and then dedicating the merit of it, should have that mental factor of the wisdom which understands the emptiness. So then next comes forbearance. And this is mentioned here as forbearance in the sense of giving up anger. Anger here refers again to the attitude of wishing to retaliate against others when they do things which are viewed as harmful to us. That's the first, actually, patience or forbearance. Forbearance has three types. There's forbearance, which is the first kind that we're mentioning here, the giving up anger and giving up the retaliatory intention to retaliate against people who do things to us. But then the second one is the forbearance, which is the ability to endure hardship in the course of practicing the path. And then third is a kind of forbearance with the respect to the nature of reality that pertains to the process of developing the wisdom that understands the nature of things. So in those cases too, or in the first of these, if we take anger, getting rid of that, then one has to so here it says giving up anger. This refers also to the developing the So then this also refers then to developing that forbearance. So it's developing a certainty with respect to dharma, or an attitude, developing one's mind so that one ascertains dharma. Dharma here is referring to emptiness, that is. So this third form of forbearance is forbearance in the process of developing that understanding of the nature of reality, specifically here, emptiness.
Oh, that's about like 다시 김발라 송바 나신 전에 전주 가수 세비 파로도 침바 아니 용서 좋아라 라라 아니 콘도 제사기 네 콘도 지위 요 매바서 발라 맞대 봐 콘도 지위 요 매바서 베서 투야 매바 인자 아니 가서 사딘디다 고요도 대녀 고요 칼라랑 삼디점 요고와니 사딘점 지요 당자스 대배라 거네 랑기 깜발라 아니 체마 매바 수바 체바 체마 마수바 체바라 체마 예비 사조 탐제라 아니 고에 차바지고 장을 차바지나 치투에 요 말에 하고서 사디운 데다 고에는 대녀 고에 칼라랑 체마 사딘 탐제 체매 차바기 아니 사조지를 dro고요나 아니 체마 무수비 체도 체마 예 사조 감제 탐제라 꼬바 띵 거나 띵 투야 요 말에 와 원나 체마 무수베 타 가르러서나 아니 랑게 깜발라 아니 한국 건데 3D 담주 꼬외니 아니 3D 담주 꼬외니 사진 담주 여바단 잡아 랑게 깜발라 체마 무수 바디 대다 잡아래 대별라 샤네 좋아 그래서
So then patience here, or forbearance, is a sort of mental quality which enables you to endure or have forbearance with respect to things which are harmful to one. Now, if having this required the elimination of things which are harmful to one, removing all of the causes or things that give harm to one, then it would be utterly impossible to develop it. That is, there would be no way to develop this kind of forbearance because there's numberless, limitless objects or things or persons that at one time or another will will harm one or present a danger or harm to one. So the example of how forbearance works to protect one from harm in this way is given in the introduction to the Bodhisattva's way of life or conduct. And there it said that it's just forbearance works similar to like a shoe. That is, if you want to protect your feet from thorns, and you're in a place where there are thorns all over the ground. The world is sort of limitless, and the places in which there are thorns or there are rocks or different kinds of things that can hurt your feet are basically limitless. So if you were to try to basically to cover all of those with leather, the entirety of the earth and the entire universe with leather so as to protect your feet, then that, of course, would be impossible. So instead of doing that, what you do is you put on shoes, and then you are able to protect yourself from all of these thorns, etc., that are likely to harm you. And so forbearance operates the same way. Simply by having that, then even though there are limitless things in the world, persons and so forth that will harm you, you have a protection from that harm. So this example illustrates that, like in the world, there are external things, persons, objects, what have you, and all of these, in one way or another, are liable to cause injury to you or to serve as causes that give rise to anger. That is, almost everything in the world, if conditions are met, is suitable to make us angry. So how can you stop anger then? You can't do it by eliminating everything in the universe. That's impossible. So therefore, what one has to do is, the only way to stop anger from occurring is to protect yourself from it by developing forbearance.
다 뒤에라 가서 준비결라 좋아니 세가나 아니 어서 준비공고 아니 고아라 줘봐 정강결라 좋아고 제주가 소야 손바 난신 아니 개와 줘봐라 줘비 아니 체내전지 섬주지라 아니 준비 제대 소와인 말에
So effort is said here is enthusiasm for virtuous activities. This is the last line in verse 36. Or in there, it doesn't, in the verse itself, it doesn't say activities. It says just effort is enthusiasm for virtue. In the commentary, it says virtuous activities. So this is explained likewise, or the explanation here in the commentary is drawn from the, again, Bodhicharyavatara, Introduction to the Bodhisattva's Way of Life, where it says that this effort is a kind of mental factor which makes one have enthusiasm for performing virtuous kinds of activities.
Oh yeah, 几点到几点的连语原点探险，安尼进入来在那穷啊，安尼说那的一些个操作吧这样，安尼进入来在那穷啊，因为原点嘛的进入接触性，说那么错，那这错呢也是注入，是我进入的，安尼说那么的一些个错你个注意吧，
Likewise, the Bodhicharyavatara says that. I missed it's not the. I'm not sorry. This verse is from the introduction to the Madhyamaka Avatara. So here then it says that effort is that which precedes all good qualities. So all of the good qualities that arise within the world, as well as transcendental good qualities, those that are out beyond the world, all of these arise from effort. And here then it's explained likewise that these function to give rise to any kind of good things that exist, good qualities that exist even on the worldly level, but likewise they apply to supramundane or transcendental good qualities, and in particular to the good qualities of the collection of merit and the collection of gnosis.
안에 준주에 지서 담보선보대 안에 선한 거 초하나이 선한 거 초를 준주에 안에 선함다 이시가 초니가 여와 지서 담보 좀 주발라 주비 준주에 안에 수구주 저거 선한 거 초체 안에 전부 가서 타진 타만이 신내단 하동라 주발라 준비 준주에 안에 이시가 초죠.
So then, also effort is functions as the means of actualizing. That is, you have to have effort in order to perform generosity, to observe ethical conduct, to maintain your forbearance. So, in order to develop the collection of merit, these first three of the six perfections are the principal causes that give rise to the collection of merit, which produces the physical embodiments of Buddhahood. So effort is necessary for those, and then you have to have effort present to perform the first three perfections in order to accumulate the collection of merit and achieve the physical embodiments of Buddhahood. Then likewise, effort is necessary for the development of meditative concentration, in brief, referring here to shamatha and that stabilization form of meditation, as well as insight meditation, which and in particular insight meditation, which is the realization of emptiness. The wisdom that realizes emptiness. So those last two, meditative concentration and the wisdom that is related to it, in order to develop those, you have to have effort. And those in turn function as the primary causes, the last two perfections, for the accumulation of the collection of gnosis, which in turn is the cause, the primary cause of the Dharmakaya.
Oh, yeah, that's. Danguru rana mendra la gani adaya bana jeju jewa nyamba meba kone gondo bewa nye dawa remboche maje bana jeju jewa